Okay, in this video, we're going to work some example problems where we need to use the distance and midpoint formulas. So for each question, we're given 2 points in the XY plane, and we're asked to first find the exact distance between the given points, and then second, to find the midpoint of the line segment whose endpoints are the given points. And so to do this, we're going to use the distance formula. So we've got 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, and the distance between those 2 points is based on this formula here. Okay, and then part B, we'll use the midpoint formula, which says that the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment with endpoints x1, y1, and x2, y2 with these endpoints. The x coordinate of the midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the y coordinate of the midpoint is y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so let's plot these 2 points. Let's say this is 12. So this is -2, 7. Okay, and this is -4, 11. Okay, so we want to find, so part A, the distance between those 2 points is the length of this line. So we need to find this length, L, and then the coordinates of the midpoint of this line. So the coordinates of M. Okay, so the distance between the points, the length L, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, the square root of that, which is based on the Pythagorean theorem. Soon I'll be posting another video that goes into detail on where the distance formula comes from. So in that video, we talk about how which point you pick to be point 1 and point 2 doesn't matter. And also the location of the line, the location and orientation of the line in the XY plane doesn't matter as long as you properly use this general form with your negative signs of your coordinates correctly. Okay, so let's call this point 1 and this point 2. But again, you could make this point 2 and this point 1 if you wanted to. So L is equal to, so x2 minus x1 minus -4 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then the square root of all of that. Okay, so L, and this is part A, so L is equal to -2 plus 4 squared plus -4 squared, the square root of all of that. L is equal to, so 2 squared plus 16. L is equal to 4. Okay, root. Okay, so L is equal to, so 20 is 4 times 5, so we could take out a 2. So L is equal to 2 root 5. Okay, that's part A. Part B, the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 is the x coordinates of the midpoint, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2 is the y coordinates. And same thing, which point you use for point 1 and point 2 is arbitrary. Just use your minus signs correctly in conjunction with this general formula here. You know, like plug in the signs of the points, plus or minus, correctly into the formula. That's the key. And then also in that same video where we talk about the meaning of the distance formula, we go over, and I'll be posting that soon. We'll talk about the intuition, the meaning behind the midpoint formula as well. Okay, so x1 plus x2, so plus minus 2, divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2. Okay, so minus 6, and then, okay, so the coordinates of the midpoint are, okay, all right, and that is part B. Okay, so let's plot these points. Let's see, this is 8. Okay, so minus 7, and then 4. And then 2, 5. Okay, we want to find the length of this line. We'll find L, as well as the coordinates of the midpoint, M. Okay, so part A, we want to find L, and we'll say, just arbitrarily, we'll pick this to be point 1 and this to be point 2. So x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. So x2 minus x1 minus 7 plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so L is equal to 2 plus 7 squared plus, okay, so 9 squared plus 1. So this is 81 plus 1. This is root 82. So this is your L. Okay, part B, coordinates of the midpoint. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So minus 5/2 and 9/2. That is your answer to part B. Okay, let's plot these 2 points. Okay, so this is 2.2 minus 2.4. .2 minus 6.4. So okay, we want to find the length of this line. And the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, so part A, we want to find L. Let's call this point 1 and this point 2. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus, so we'll do y1 squared. Okay, so 5.2 minus 2.2 is 3. So minus 6.4 plus 2.4 right, because we had, this was minus 6.4 minus 2.4, minus 6.4 minus 2.4. This turns into a plus. So we get L is equal to 9 plus minus 4 squared. So 9 plus 16. So L is equal to 5. That is part A. Okay, part B, the coordinates of M. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus, so plus minus 6.4 plus y2, so that's just minus 6.4. Okay, so (2.2) plus 5.2 is 7.4, and then minus 2.4 minus 6.4 is minus 8.8. So 7.4 divided by 2 is 3.7, and then minus 8.8 divided by 2 is minus 4.4. And that is the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, in the last problem, we're not going to plot these points. Let's just run through the, let's just plug straight into the distance and midpoint formulas. So part A, and we'll call this point 1 and this point 2. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1, so minus, then the minus root 2 squared. Okay, so we've got 4 root 5 minus root 5 is 3 root 5 plus, so minus 7 root 2 plus root 2. Okay. So 3 root 5 squared is 9 times 5 plus minus 7 root 2 plus root 2 is minus 6 root 2. Okay, so 9 times 5 plus, so minus 6 root 2 squared is 36 times 2. Okay. So 9 times 5 is 45. 36 times 2 is 72. Okay, this is equal to, so 45 plus 72 is 117. So L is equal to the square root of 117. Okay, part B, the midpoint plus x2 okay, and then divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2, so root 5 and this is the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, if you found this video helpful, drop a like and consider subscribing. I will see you in the next video.